Hello and welcome to all of you out there, your dear astrology friends. This is the monthly horoscopes for all the signs for August of 2023. And I'm going quite quickly through the signs, but first and foremost, I want to have a look on the collective level as an introduction, what's going on during the month of August. Now, actually, this whole month of August is, you could say, full of retrogrades. I mean, we have, of course, the Venus retrograde. That is for the whole month. You know, the whole month of August, Venus will be retrograding. We've got Mercury going retrograde again as well. Again, I mean, it's like 3 times a year we have that Mercury retrograde. So that's going to happen around and about the 24th of August in Virgo at 21 degrees of Virgo, so another retrograde. And then we have, of course, already the Pluto retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Uranus also going to retrograde on the 29th of August, and Saturn is already retrograding. So it's not a bad or a good thing. It just shows that things are going a bit more slow. And especially when 2 personal planets like Venus and Mercury go back, as it seems, retrograde, it means that things need to slow down and we need to think Mercury retrograde differently or reassess something. And we also have to reevaluate, revalue, you could say, or reassess something that we find very important in our lives, that we value a lot, which is the Venus retrograde. And I made a separate video about the Venus retrograde. I'm going in the future, going to make the Mercury retrograde as well, but it's a bit too early, you know, on 24th of August, when the retrograde of Mercury is. But so it shows a month of reflection, and it's going inwards. And we all know that it is needed. It is needed to go inwards every now and then, because we kind of assess what is going on in our lives, and that's absolutely not a bad thing. So know that these energies, they tend to frustrate us when we are not accepting that. So try to accept that things will figure itself out when this Mercury goes direct again, and that will be on the 16th or around about the 16th of September, on my birthday. Yay! That it will go direct at 8 degrees of Virgo. I mean, the Mercury, that is. So another thing, so I'm going to have a look at where that is in your chart. The Venus retrograde I'm going to look at, and also the Mercury retrograde. Now, the thing is, what about this Mercury retrograde? Because it always has a flavor. Just like Venus has this flavor of, I've been talking about this a lot in the video about the retrograde. It's a very Uranian kind of Venus retrograde with a lot of energy that is the Venus squares up to Uranus, and it's going to do that as well round at about the 10th of the month, the 9th to 10th, the 8th, 9th, 10th of August. Venus is exactly going to, in the retrograde motion, going to square Uranus again, which is all about novelty. We want things to be different. We want things to be more exciting and to be more real and honest and authentic. And we are trying to do that with the Venus retrograde. Now, the Mercury is a very earthly kind of Mercury retrograde, not only because it's in an earth sign of Virgo, but also because it trines Jupiter in Taurus, another earth sign, another planet in an earth sign, so which is what we call a trine, and that is very positive energy. Now, at the same time, whilst Mercury is going backwards and forwards in that sign of Virgo, Mars will also be in Virgo. And Mars will be in Virgo from the beginning of the month up until like 28th of the month. So like the whole month is Mars, almost the whole month, Mars in Virgo. So it shows that the area of our life where we do our actions, which is Mars, we then, around the 24th of the month and onwards, are going to think about our actions, and we're going to reassess them, how we can fine-tune them and how we can adjust. So that's a big sign here. Another thing is that this Mars when it goes through the sign of Virgo, at the beginning of the month, it's already going to trine Jupiter around the 1st. Then it's going to trine Uranus. Then it's going to trine Pluto. And even before Pluto, it's going to oppose Neptune. So it's going to make a lot of positive transits with the trines in all those earth signs, except for the opposition to Neptune. So on the 1st, it's going to trine Jupiter, which is possibility and growth by our actions and hope that we have. Then a trine to Uranus around the 17th, which Mars trining Uranus is being bold, is doing things that we're afraid of, but we're going to do them anyway, and it liberates us. And then Mars will also trine Pluto on the 25th, which is more about transformation. And we do things that will have a long-term effect in the long run, a transformative effect, but in a positive way, because these are all trines. So all in all, a pretty good month. Although, of course, you have to acknowledge that things are going slowlier because of that retrograde. So that's in a nutshell. Let's get through these 12 signs, and very shortly, so that we know, chuck, that's the era of our life. I don't like this to be too long, because then it becomes all confusing. Anyway, Aries, huge focus on where the Mercury and the Mars is, which is your 6th house. So that adds up to the busyness of you. And Mars is your ruler, right? So it's in Virgo. And it's in that 6 months wanting to fix problem. So this month in August, you're going to fix a lot of problems, or at least there's the energy to do that. But as I said, with the Mercury retrograde, it means that you're also going to think about how to improve your routines. So there could be actually a problem coming up first that you have to tackle. And because of that, you're thinking about that problem to fix it now and to give it more attention. Yes, it's annoying, absolutely, but it's going to give you a lot of profit in the long run. And this 6th house has to do with your work. If you do work, if you're not working, it's your day-to-day routines. The day-to-day routines, and I'm often checking this light here. You know why. Anyway, day-to-day routines here, to improve them, to improve your administration as well, if you do have your own business, for instance, to improve your efficiency around that. There is a lot of analytic energy here in that house of in that analytical house. It's the house of the Virgo. So for a lot of you, there could be also something that is around health that you're trying to tackle in a better way. It's certainly a good way to do so, because you've got Mars there, which is like you want to get to the action there and to the details of it. And but also the Mercury retrograde. So you might go to, maybe if you're dealing with an issue already, if you're dealing with an issue, on a health issue, you could be saying to yourself, look, I'm going to have a second opinion. And that's what the Mercury retrograde is all about. A lot of people could think about changing jobs as well. So when Mercury goes direct on the 16th of September, it's a good time to start a new job. So very practical energy during August. But the Venus is retrograde in your 5th house, so there is time for pleasure. The Venus in the 5th house shows that, there is time to go back to a hobby or something that you love to do, to enjoy yourself. It considers also love and children, so you could be trying to improve your connection with your child if you do have them, or you could there could be someone there that you fall for, and there is a lot of romance in the air for sure, and there is a backwards and forwards assessing this relationship, which is a good thing. Now the trine, I wanted to mention the trine to Jupiter with the Mars and the Mercury. The trine to Jupiter is from your 6th house, where the Mars and Mercury is, to the 2nd house, where Jupiter is, which is your financial house and the house of self-esteem. So these are supporting each other. It could mean a promotion. It could be you're thinking about this to do this, and that is amazing. You know, Jupiter in the second house is amazing for your confidence, and you just feel better in general. So all in all, a nice month for you indeed. Taurus, Taurians, this is this Mercury retrograde happening in a fellow Earth sign. So this is a rather nice Mercury retrograde for you. You've got a lot of activity, a lot of energy, Mars and Mercury in your fifth house, the house of self-expression, the house of children, the house of your hobbies, the things that you do for that you love to do, that you enjoy. So it's definitely time to speed that area up for sure. And especially because it's trining Jupiter in your sign. So you've got that trine from your sign to the fifth house. That is very spirited energy, you could say. That is energy with a lot of energy, with a lot of fire energy and a lot of optimism that you are having here, just to have fun, actually. And I would say enjoy that. With the Mercury retrograde, it could mean that you go back to an old hobby, or you do something for sports that you did when you were younger, for instance. It could be that as well, that you are doing that. And so very nice energy. I mean, so much earthly energy in August, and that is your energy. So it's very grounding. It's very enjoyable. You are enjoying the little things as well. And that is good. Of course, this Venus retrograde, it's you. You are Venus. So you are going backwards and forwards when it comes to the fourth house, when it comes to literally your house. So it could have to do with real estate, that you're dealing with some, buying or selling, real estate, but it can also be your family. So there are things that could be reuniting with family, or the value that you have around family is changing for you. So a very down-to-earth month for you, as you like it. Geminis, this is of course your ruler Mercury, so you're used to this, and this is happening in your fourth house. So the Mercury and the Mars are in your fourth house, the house of home, the house of your family, the house of how you get emotional support and how you nurture yourself, basically, as a parent. So Mercury and Mars there could mean that there are some changes in that area, literally buying or selling a home, or working in the home. At least, moving in the home. There's a lot of movement there. Could be the furniture that you're just rearranging, but it could also mean like you're doing work from home as well. Now, the Mercury retrograde tends to you going back to home. Could also be the case that you go to your home country. You may be living in another country and you go back to your home country. But there is some things that you are going back to that has to do with your ancestry, and that you can heal from this. And it trines the 12th house, which is Jupiter. This is lovely. So the 12th house is a very unconscious house, and this could have to do with the unseen world that, especially if you have, some of you, of course, one of your parents is not living anymore. There could be some spiritual awakening happening here, which is beautiful, and that you kind of feel that you do have that support, and it comes from your ancestry, maybe your grandparent. The fourth house is your roots, and that it's very suiting energy that you're having, but also very real and grounding. You feel like it's very real to you. Amongst all that emotional energy here that is quite stable for you now, there is the Venus retrograde in your third house. So you're thinking differently about love, about your social context that are day to day, like your neighbors, your siblings, your environment. And the Venus retrograde there can also be very good for you know, if you have your own business, for instance, to redo your website, to beautify that, to do a trip as well, to go back to a country that you already have been, you know, that retrograde motion there. But all in all, quite nurturing energy. Cancerians, this Mercury retrograde is in Virgo with Mars in your third house. That shows busyness. So a lot of busyness during this month. And the third house is the house of your neighborhood. It's the house of short trips as well. So you could be doing some trips. With the Mercury retrograde, it could mean that there are some delays there, or you're going back to a country where you already have been. Could be both of them. And but if you have, for instance, your own business, it could mean that you're doing a lot of rethinking your business and rethinking how, in particular, you're going to do the PR, how you're going to do the advertising, how you're going to do your website, and so on. There's a lot of energy there to improve that. You could be a bit more active as well with people in the neighborhood, with siblings. So a very social kind of energy during the month of August. And this third, it's very social, by the way. This third house here of Virgo is trining Jupiter in your 11th house of Taurus, of the house of friends and the house of groups. And so it's good for you to do things with friends, to do things with groups. And it's very down to earth. It's very soothing as well. So you will be feeling that you are supported there. A lot of support from friends, a lot of support from people around you, a lot of social contacts, and you're going to be a social butterfly there during the month of August. And but it's still real. And you're gonna like that, you know, Earth energy. When there's a lot of Earth energy or planets shifting into Earth energy, that's good for you because you're a water sign. So you feel that you're growing thanks to that earthly support. And so that's the biggest thing. It's growth here when it comes to your ideas, right? The third house, but also when it comes to your social contacts. And the Venus retrograde in the second house, I've been talking about that in other videos as well, but that has more to do with your confidence and with your value and with your money. So there are things that you're trying to reevaluate that consider those topics as well. Leo's a very important month for you. The first of the month of the first of all, happy birthday for some of you, right? Who've got a birthday during the month of August. And the first is already a new moon at 23 degrees of Leo. So there is this new beginning that all Leos will feel. And yes, Venus is retrograde in your sign. So you're trying to reevaluate how you see yourself, how you profile yourself, how you, so it's a good time to think about what you can do to improve your looks, for instance, or to take more care about your body as well, right? Whether it is a haircut, whatever it is for you, and to implement that after the 5th of September. So thinking about it now, but implementing it when Venus goes direct is the best possible thing. Now, all this energy that so the Venus retrograde, by the way, is definitely, you know, watch the Venus retrograde video if you want to know more. I kind of explain that more in depth there. But first and foremost, it's about you, how to love yourself, how to use self-love in a new way, because this Venus squares up to Uranus. And the focus here for Leos is on the second house because of this Mars there, the Mercury retrograde going backwards and forwards in your second house of money. So you could be dealing with maybe an issue coming up and you want to improve your financial situation. It's definitely possible here. And you really want to hustle for the money with Mars in your second house. You really want to work on your confidence and work on the self-worth. What do I mean by working on it? If you're saying like, look, my self-worth is not good because I'm 2 pounds overweight or whatnot, you put a plan and how you're going to deal with this and how you're going to implement it. And you implement the plan when Mercury goes direct, which is on the 16th of September. And off you go. So a lot of possibility of improving your confidence, but also of improving your financial situation. So definitely kind of reassess it and ask for someone who's got a lot of knowledge around that, an accountant or whatnot, to improve that situation. You do have a trine to Jupiter in your 10th house, so you could be, when you're working, you could be asking for a promotion, and maybe the promotion is not going to come directly, but is going to come when the planets go forwards, right? Which is after the 16th of September. So quite earthly energy in earthly houses for you, and that has to deal with your money, your career, and how to improve that also on a level of the confidence. Virgos, you are going to have around and about the very end of the month, the 31st of August, there is going to be a new moon in Virgo at 7 degrees of Virgo. So for you, the new beginning is at the very end of the month, when lots of planets are going to shift into Virgo, of course. Now, all of this is happening in your sign. It's your ruler going backwards in your sign, Mercury going backwards in your sign, so, and Mars in the first house. So this is like a new you, for sure. And you've been doing new things, for sure. But around and about the 24th, it's time to reevaluate already and to look at what, making that balance of how can I make it even better for the future when everything goes forwards. So on the 5th of September, it's going to be Venus. On the 16th of September, it's going to be Mercury. If those planets go forwards, what can I do now to improve the area of my life that has to do with my life path? The first house is also your appearance, how you appear, how you look. It's your physical appearance. So you could be thinking about that. But I think with Mars there as well, it's more about your goals. It's more about your life and what the goals are for your future, because, it's every 2 years Mars transits for a couple of weeks, a week or 6 weeks, approximately 5 to 6 weeks. It crosses your ascendant. So it's a good time for you. And a lot of Virgos will have to do that, to say no to some people, some situations, because this Mars in the first house shows that, a bit of irritation as well. And it is needed often, because Virgos tend to try to fix people's problems and try to do their best, trying to be of service and so on. But it is possible with this Mars in the first house, Mercury going back and forwards, that you're really thinking of the things that you said in the past. And definitely after the 24th of August, you're going to rethink about it and how can I improve that in the long run? And how can I put my boundaries better in the long run? You're going to be do that anyways, already from the 1st of August, setting better boundaries in a healthy way. And that is often saying no. That is putting a boundary there. And you will do it with confidence because Mars is in your sign. So I often see that Mars transiting the first house when people had enough. But know that you're not doing it too harsh, because and Mercury there and Mars there, it could be a sharp tongue. Those two planets in Virgo, Mercury is about talking and Mars is doing. And when you put those two in the same sign, it can be very, very, sharp, let's put it that way. So you don't want to do that in a negative way. You don't want to put people down and point towards their vulnerabilities too much. So that's something that you need to look out for. But it's time, if someone is really crossing your boundary, it's time to say no, basically. So you've got the green light to do that for sure. And this Mercury and Mars is trining Jupiter in your 9th house. So that is fantastic for travel. It is fantastic to do 9th house things, which is travel, which is learning and teaching and reading stuff that enlarges or improves or expands your consciousness. That is really the 9th house. It's having that connection with the divine and with all there is. So it's very beautiful energy for you and very supported when it comes to your inspiration and creativity. That Venus retrograde, though, is still in the 12th house. So there is still, something going on there on the love level that when you are single, for instance, you could feel like, yeah, the people that you care for, do they care as much for you? So in combination with that Mars, it could be really necessary for you to stand your ground. On the other hand, it's a perfect energy for doing things for people that need the help, that Venus in the 12th house, and standing up for other people as well. And as it is for yourself, basically. So that's a beautiful thing. Being cautious of that you're not sacrificing yourself in love. That's the only caution with the Venus in the 12th house, and not putting people too much on a pedestal and expecting too much from them, because then you're going to get disappointed. So that's for Virgo. Librans, this is all happening in a very, you could say, hidden house. It's all happening in the 12th house. Mars there, Mercury there. So you could be sleeping a bit less because you've got such a vivid dreams there. And there's a lot to think about, and you're doing that at night, probably. And but with the Mercury retrograde, it could also mean that you're trying to reconnect with your soul, with people that passed away as well. I see that also the 12th house, it's like those other realms. It's the unconscious. So it's a good time to dig deeper when it comes to what makes you tick, basically. And it's a good time to be active alone, basically, to maybe do some writing, with all that Virgo energy, do some writing, a diary. I know it sounds all a bit cheesy, but it's a good time for you to, especially if you want to dig a little bit and know a little bit more your shadows and the unconscious and what you have suppressed, basically, and to tackle that. And the thing to watch out for, though, is self-sabotage. So you putting yourself down. I mean, it's quite common with Mars in the 12th house. So you are warned now. But all this energy does trine Jupiter in the 8th house. So wow, what a lot of water energy. So you're getting support from other people. Could be literally by finances, but also by emotional support, psychological understanding of other people. What they bring to the table gives you a lot of expansion and understanding. So there's a lot hidden here. And what I'm talking about here is not something that other people see. This is happening behind the scenes. You could be also getting support, unseen support, basically, from these other realms, ancestors, or if you do believe in angels and all of that, that you could get like this support or feel that you are more supported than ever. And that is nice because it gives you because it's in earth signs, it gives you true feeling of being supported. That Venus, your ruler, is going backwards and forwards in your 11th house. So yes, you think about friends, you reevaluate them, and that's a good thing. So keep on doing that. And the same for your goals. Keep on reevaluating them. Scorpios, this is all happening in your 11th house. So for Scorpios, it's a busy month. It's a busy month. The 11th house is a house of friends. It's a house of getting together in groups, workshops, associations. It's your goals for the future. And with Mars there's a lot of activity, and you probably taking the lead because Mars is your ruler and Mars is activities. And it's you doing activities with friends, with groups of people. It could also mean if you have your own business, that you are thinking about improving how you can get more money out of the business, because the 11th house is also a financial house. If you have your own business, it's the 2nd house from the 10th. So it's a financial house as well. So you could be doing that as well and really feeling that you want to improve that. And there is possibility to do that for sure. So think about that. Think about how you can rearrange your networks. If you do have like social media and whatnot, you could really, to the detail, because it's in Virgo, try to rearrange that and try to improve that. So that is a very good thing indeed. Friends could be coming back. Or you could be thinking differently about friends. It could be that as well, for better or for worse. And it's a trine to your 7th house where Jupiter is. So you could be, if you're single, for instance, this could be you meeting a friend, becoming a lover. That could be the fact here with this beautiful trine. Or you with your spouse, for instance, or with your girlfriend, boyfriend, doing something in group with friends together, and it's going to be something that you really love, that is really down to earth, and that gives you a lot of support and hope in life. Venus is retrograde in your 10th house. So this is that re-evaluation around your work. And I was talking about that in the video about the Venus retrograde, that you have that ability now to change work, to use your charm for sure, and maybe some help that is going to be offered towards you of a female or someone with female traits, feminine energy with the Venus there. In the 10th house, who's trying to help you out. And when Venus goes direct, you see the fruits of that. Okay, Sagittarians, this is important because it's in a fellow mutable sign that this Mercury is retrograde. So this is happening at the top of your chart. And if you do have a job, if you're not having a job, stick to the following 2 minutes. I'll get back to that in a minute. But if you do have a job, you could rethink it. You could do a lot of work with the Mars there, yes, but you could then think like, am I being efficient here? It's like the Virgo, am I doing the right thing here? You could really question your routines, your the way that you do work. So for some of you, yes, a new job is definitely on here, and it's possible when Mercury goes direct, which is on the 16th of September. It's on my birthday. It's easy. It's easy to remember. Anyways, what I'm trying to say here, lots of possibility for improving your work, but first maybe tackling 1 or 2 issues there that are not really efficient. So do this. Spend a little bit more extra time on something that you don't like to do, because this Jupiter in your 6th house that is trining all that energy in your 10th house is going to not only give you more purpose in your work, but also the feeling that you are growing and expanding. So definitely on the work level, this is very positive for the Sagittarians. Although, again, you have to fine-tune some routines there. For people who do not work, this is all about how they view their day-to-day routines in combination to how they want to be seen in the world, their energy. So, and with this positive trine to Jupiter, it shows that you can do a lot to improve your energy around those small things, and that you can contribute to planet Earth, basically, because the 10th house is like a second ascendant. So it's like what you do and how you show up in the world. So you're going to be a little bit more oriented towards the details, which is not really your thing with the Sagittarian energy, but now how you do life is going to be a bit more like that. The Venus retrograde for you is very lovely. I already said that, because it's in a fellow fire sign and it's in your house, in the 9th house. So go back to a country that you already have been, or travel if you can, study, teach, have fun on, do some cultural, events or whatnot, all these things. Festivals and all of that. I associate that with the 9th house. I don't know why. You explain me. But it's having a lot of fun and with a lot of cultures coming together. Let's put it that way. Capricorns, lovely for you. This Mercury retrograde, although it's in your 9th house of travel. So yes, there could be some delays happening. If you're traveling around the 24th of August in particular. But you are forewarned, here is forearmed. So you know this now. So you take with you a couple of books so that you're not going to get bored, or your work, although I would not recommend that. But anyway, Capricorns love to work mostly, not all of them. But with all this energy in your ninth house, if you're going to travel, you're going to be very active. You're going to visit this and visit that, and that's a good thing. In Virgo, you want to know everything about the country that you are traveling through. If it's not that, it could have to do with studies that you will have to do. Oh, in Belgium here, during August time, it is what we call the second chance that we have for exams. So a lot of, young people, not necessarily all young people, but if you have to redo an exam during the month of September, this is fantastic time. It's fantastic time for the students, basically. There's Mercury retrograde in Virgo, because you're going to go to the detail. And so it's good to revisit that. On another level, this could be writing, teaching, learning, opening your mind and expanding your mind for sure. But at the same time, it trines your fifth house. So at the same time, it could mean that you are getting more creative. And the fifth house is the house of the heart. It's the house of love as well. So you could be meeting someone from abroad. Or from at least a different background. Could be that as well, which is lovely energy for you, very down-to-earth energy. I love it with this Jupiter in your fifth house. It's also children. Children could be giving you a lot of inspiration, basically, because they grow and they expand, and so do you with them. It could also mean that your point of view is just more enjoyable, and you're doing more things that you enjoy in life now, and you've got the space to do that. The Venus retrograde is in your 8th house, so that is where when it comes to value of other people, you're questioning that. It could be your relationship. If you are in a relationship, that there is a transformation going on there. There is more authenticity there, and that's for the best. I mean, maybe, yes, there need to be some changes there. But when you're open for that with the Venus square Uranus, it's definitely showing more honesty, more authenticity in the relationship. And that's always a good thing, right? When you're into a new relationship, this could be really intense and hot at the same time with this Venus in your 8th house. Aquarians, this is happening, all this energy in your 8th house. So this is a bit of a secret house, you could say, a hidden house with Mars there. So you're acting behind the scenes. You're not telling other people. It could be as simple as I'm preparing something and I'm not telling other people. Sometimes we need to do that. When you have an eye on a new job, for instance, you're working your way through it, right? And when you're secure, you're saying, look, this is the new job that I'm going to, and I'm going to end this current job. So it's doing things behind the scenes, but with the Mercury there going backwards and forwards as well, it's a very important time for you. It's a very transformative time for you, because the 8th house is the house of transformation. It's the house of death and rebirth. It's the house of a deep psychological house. So it's a good time for you to go deep on the psychological level with a therapist, or you read some books, or even like astrology or things like that can help you to know yourself and to know your shadow, because the 8th house has to do with that. And you're getting a trine energy from Jupiter in your 4th, which means that you're more grounded, that you feel more home at home. It could be literally on another level, investing in real estate, for instance. Could be really that as well, and it's very positive energy to do that. You're having on the 1st, is it the 1st? Oh yes, I said to Leos the 16th, the 1st. Okay, I did make an error for the Leos, but I'm going to correct that. Anyway, Aquarians, it's on the 1st that you're having your full moon. 9 degrees of Aquarius. So there is already at the beginning of a month something that becomes very clear for you, and very much about your needs versus some other person's needs, especially when you're in a relationship. That could be a culmination there of the work that you did before that. If you're single, that could be like, okay, this is it. I'm stepping into a new relationship, for instance. Could be that as well. Pisces, this is a very important month for you when it comes to relationships. I mean, Mercury is going backwards and forwards in your 7th house of relationships, where Mars is as well. That's quite a lot of activity. Although Mars is a bit feisty and you could meet people not only in romance, but also for your business. If you work with clients, that could be a little bit more martial, which is like they stand up for themselves and they are very good with their words, sharp tongues there. So be prepared for that. You as a Piscean can deal well with that because you are very empathic. But of course, don't be don't let people walk all over you. But I think you will not. I think you have an opportunity here to understand better where people are coming from and to understand why they are more standing their ground, why they are doing that. So if you in a relationship have been really, not being the best partner, they are going to stand up for themselves. So the best thing you could do is to listen and to kind of compromise here with this Mars in your 7th house. And but again, I think that most Pisceans won't have a problem with that. On the contrary, but they are going to think about relationships a lot and rethink about it as well, because it's so important for them how to communicate on a level of understanding them better. And there is an opportunity. So there could be a conflict here when this pops up around the 24th of August. There could be a conflict with someone that is very significant for you. But know that this is to improve that connection. So when you look at them and you say your truth and they say their truth, because this energy trines the Jupiter in the 3rd house of communication. So I think you will learn a lot around positive communication. And it's so important for relationships, right? It's so cheesy that I'm saying this, but it is true. And I think that you have that opportunity to improve a lot of relationships. It could also mean that someone is shifting from a casual relationship to a romance, for instance, because of this Mercury going backwards and forwards. You could be meeting someone and it could be a new person that you're thinking backwards and forwards. How are they and what are they doing, which is normal. Or it could as well be someone that you already know, but a shift in how you view them, right? So from friends to romance, so to speak. So it's a good thing. It's a very good thing because it's a very down-to-earth energy, and you Pisceans deal well with that energy. So I love it. I love this energy for you, full of earth. That's very grounding for the Pisceans. A lot of social contacts as well with Jupiter in your 3rd house. Get out there, right? Doing some short trips as well. It's going to be quite exciting. Venus retrograde in your 6th house, so you could be dealing with reassessing how you are doing your routines, how you're doing your day-to-day work. The work that you're doing, is that still, how you value it. And but that is more explained in the video that I said around the Venus retrograde. So you are re-evaluating also your health. You could be doing some things that you're shifting now or thinking about, so that you can improve your health and yes, and more enjoyment in your work as well, with Venus there in the 6th house. Leos, I want to say, because I made a little mistake there for the Leos, I'm going to address this now that I've seen it amongst doing this video. Is that English? Amongst doing this video. Anyway, but I said that Leo had on the 1st a new moon. It's on the 16th. Mea culpa for saying that. So it's around about the 16th that you will feel like, yeah, I'm getting this reset. I'm getting this really, and this new moon really is amazing for you because it trines Venus as well. So Venus is also in your sign. And what am I saying? It's not trining. It's in your sign. Leo, I do mess up with you. I'm so sorry. Mea culpa for that. But I've got the best intentions here. So yes, on the 16th, you're having your new moon, new beginnings. That has to do with what? Everything. It's in your sign. So you can start with everything. With a new garderobe, with new looks, with a new job, a new relationship, you name it. You've got the energy here. And Venus is in your sign, squaring up to Uranus. So you're fed up with the routines, aren't you? You're fed up with the day-to-day things, with same old, same old. So you've got beautiful opportunities here to do some new stuff. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. And I wish you all the best for the month of August, and see you soon. Bye-bye.